Yeah.
We got a show for you today, guys. What's going on? Welcome to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for a cult movie discussion. We are your hosts, Bill and Chris, and this week we are doing two films. We're back to classic OTC fare. What is classic OTC fare? You ask, because we've been doing new films for like the last couple months. Well, actually, I guess we did. At classic OTC fare is films that could be considered of cult status, released 10 plus years ago. And this week we have got two. Two. One is definitely a vanity project, and the other is also probably a vanity project.
Yeah,
very different.
Only one of them, I think, deserves to actually be called a vanity project because that person actually is notoriously vain.
Fair.
I don't think you can really have a vanity. Can you have a vanity project if nobody knows who the fuck you are?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Our two films this week, dipping into the ninja world, which has been quite a while since we did one. We are going to be doing 9 Deaths of the Ninja. Shokazuki fronted, directed by Emmett Alston, which I don't even know if that's actually his real name or not, but he directed 9 Deaths of the Ninja. He also directed, actually that's his name. He directed New Year's Evil, and he directed Demon Warp, which are films that we did Demon Warp on the show. We also did New Year's Evil way back. But 9 Deaths of the Ninja this week for him. It is not part of the Ninja, film series, which was Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, and Ninja 3 Domination, but it is Shokazuki as the one and only Spike Shinobi.
Jesus fucking Christ. I didn't even see him as the main character. The other dude was the main character, I felt.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Could be.
But we're not reviewing it yet.
Not yet.
So.
We'll get there. And then the other film we're doing this week, in the vein of films like The Room or Birdemic.
This is a fucking face down in the desert eating tuna fish movie.
Easily. William Shatner directed this from a screenplay by Maurice Hurley. The truth lies beneath, Chris. Groom Lake, also known as The Visitor. Oh, poor Amy Acker.
Hey, she had a really good role in Cabin in the Woods 10 years after this. So
yeah, and she also had a great role in Firefly. So
she survived.
Yeah, she was.
She survived this movie.
She was also in she was an Angel a bit, and she was in Alias, and she's definitely got some stuff going on. I actually quite like Amy Acker.
Not in this.
No. Oh God, no. Yes, Groom Lake. William Shatner's it's not his directorial debut, but
no, he did a Star Trek way before this.
But it is shot on video. It is lazy.
His Star Trek movie is a fucking masterpiece compared to this.
Yeah, man. This was 2002 that this came out. So
it looks like it.
It does. It actually looks like 95.
I was going to say,
So Shatner directed it, but he also, quote unquote, wrote the story that they adapted the screenplay from.
The story would be okay.
Yeah.
The idea of the story is okay. All of the filler bullshit around it. What the fuck? I don't. Are we officially doing this now?
No. I gotta give the Patreon a plug first.
Oh, right. I'm just eager to get this buried.
Yeah, for sure.
So you do your thing.
So anyway, before we get into that, if you like the show and you would like to support the show, join the Patreon. That's the best way to help us keep the show on the air. Patreon.com/outside the cinema. If you are one of those Patreon members and a $5 a month more monthly donation, you get access to the full show archive. You also get access to the free RSS feed that we have with the shows being released early. You also get all the music shows. I put out a request on the Facebook group If you go to groups and search Outside the Cinema for ideas for the music show, we had a good time doing the last music show. We got some cool suggestions there, but I was really looking more for like album and song type suggestions for lists. But there's definitely some stuff there that I think you and I could probably make bonus list shows out of. People would talk about,
I think I had seen a few that
like
were good.
Specific like soundtracks to movies and like music that adds to movies. Which is awesome. I was originally looking for, like music list shows that we do for like albums and songs and stuff, but I didn't even think about that stuff. So that stuff is definitely up for play too. So I think we'll try to plan to do some of that stuff too. But all that stuff will be available exclusively on the Patreon. You won't be able to get it on the regular feed. You can get it on the Patreon feed. Because I definitely feel like we need to start providing people with some more reasons to do it, other than their undying love for us. So patreon.com/outsidethecinema is the address for that. Okay, I guess we can get into Groom Lake. You know what? I didn't look for a trailer yet. I don't know if there is one. Okay, here's a trailer. So let's.
Oh, it's Shatner. There's probably 12.
Something crashed in the desert about 30 years ago. A life form.
Everybody in this town a space nut?
Oh, yeah, more or less.
You see that glow?
Someone, please help me!
Fight them, that's what we gotta do. Expose them, kill them.
I have direct orders from the Pentagon. This mission is scrubbed. Abort!
Holy shit. Okay, Groom Lake 2002. Directed by William Shatner, based on a story by William Shatner, from a screenplay by Maurice Healy, starring William Shatner, Dan Gaither, Amy Acker, Tom Towles. I don't know how he got himself involved in this shit. Dick Van Patten. Sure, why not?
Throw him in.
Nobody else that's recognizable.
There's one guy that looks like the dean from Community, but it's not him.
Yeah, Richard Hoyt did some stuff back in the day, but so Groom Lake. All right, Groom Lake. Holy crap.
All right, hold on. Look at this.
Oh, that is beautiful.
I got a new notebook. I got like 8 pages on this movie.
All right. Well, let me give a basic brief synopsis.
I'm gonna try and keep notes for all the movies this year.
All right, dude. I love you, and you have said that many times.
I know,
and it's usually pretty good for about 2 or 3 episodes.
No, last time I checked, I did like 16 in a row.
Hey, if you could keep doing it, man, I would love that. I'm
gonna try. I mean, I got my shit together now. I'm working days. I'm lost weight. I'm feeling good.
All right.
I got my proton pack coming this weekend. Things are.
I lost weight. I feel good. I got a proton pack coming.
Yeah.
Oh, protein pack?
Yeah.
No, not a protein pack.
No, like unlicensed nuclear accelerator for my back.
Sweet.
Yeah.
The synopsis of this is Amy Acker plays Kate. Dan Gaither plays Andy. Kate, well, she's dying from an aggressive form of lupus. She needs reassurance that there's life elsewhere in the universe. So her and Andy.
Why?
Hang on.
That's what I don't.
Hang on. We'll get there. I promise you. I promise you we will get there, my friend.
First of all, lupus.
I know.
I'm just going off the thing you said. We're already at the lupus part.
I just need to get through the synopsis, and then we can go at it.
Go ahead.
She and Andy go to the one place that may hold the answers to her questions. Alien lights have been seen. Alien ships have been sighted. If she could only come into contact with these foreign forces. The bizarre people who inhabit the era also play a role in Kate and Andy's quest. The one place that may hold the answer is ... Groom Lake. Now, that's not really what this movie is about. Maybe in theory, that's what they wanted it to be about. But that's not what this movie is about.
No, this movie isn't really about anything.
Nope.
I'm going to be honest.
It's about 4 or 5 ideas.
This is, now, here's the thing. We always talk about the intention behind a movie. The sincerity often elevates a movie up from garbage to kind of endearing in a sincere, I tried my best kind of way. Yep. And I will carry that over to this. And I am going to say Shatner's been in the fucking business long enough to know this is not how you make something. So I'm going to trash the fucking thing.
Well, the best reason to trash the thing is
he knows better. I saw the Star Trek movie he made and it looked like a fucking Star Trek movie. This looks like a fucking VCR game that's been played too many times. So no, this one gets no mercy because his ego drove this.
For sure.
And his ego made these decisions. And they are bad fucking decisions.
And the thing with this movie is it's all in the details or lack thereof.
all of the characters in charge are all old people.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah. We open with Tom Towles basically driving his truck through the Nevada desert, and by Nevada desert,
and through a credit sequence from 1994.
I know, right? Like bad for even like you go back and watch like Buffy, and like those credit like it looks bad, but that's what this looks like, and Buffy had already been off the air for a couple of years, so.
It's all little tiny white squares that come together and then make, I want to say, red lettering, because that would make sense.
Right. So we got Tom Towles driving through, and I love him. I mean, he was great as Otis in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. He's been in tons of movies. Covered. He's in Fortress.
I loved him in the 90s Night of the Living Dead.
Yep. One of
He's good there.
Great as like an asshole cop in House of a Thousand Corpses. He also, I mean, he was in shit. What the hell was that, Michael? Miami Vice, the Miami Vice movie, which is again another one that was like way better than it had any business being. But he's great.
The Michael Mann one.
Yeah. He didn't have a big role in it, but like,
I never watched
it was
that,
great.
but I might.
It was really good, man. Yeah. Way better than you ever would have expected it to be.
That's what I heard, and then it totally fell off the radar for me.
Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx together.
Yeah.
So
I like Colin Farrell now. I didn't back then.
Yeah, same here. Agreed. So, so he's driving his truck through the desert, and then he sees like a weird like, I don't know, purple light in the sky, and what is a?
I mean, it could be if they had rendered it properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really terrible day for night shot.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do,
and then they try to put glowing purple light on top of that. It's the computer must have been like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
In 2002, think about that. Like, you don't need to do day for night shots in 2002. Like, you don't. I'm sorry. I totally understand day for night shots in like films from the 60s and the 70s, but like by like 1981. You don't need to. There's lenses that are fast enough and cameras that will be able to drop or bring an ISO up high enough that maybe it's not going to look great, but you don't need to shoot day for night. Sorry. 2000.
But they're also shooting this on video, on standard definition video.
So bad. Anyway, so he's driving through. He sees the purple lights, pulls over the truck, stands up on the truck bed and just starts screaming, "Take me."
Hold on. Somebody else starts screaming. Because they had to loop this line, and that's not his voice. No. It doesn't match up.
Start screaming, "Take me, why don't you? Take me!" And
then he glows purple for no fucking reason.
I read a number of reviews of this because I'm sure I was like, "There's got to be some really fucking humorous reviews." And my favorite fucking quote was when they talked about how like he looked at his hands. And they were like, his hands looked like Jeffrey Epstein's maid changing his sheets. under a black light. Like,
I might have watched the same
it
thing.
was on YouTube, right? It was fucking
Yeah,
fun.
was it a little possum?
Yeah, the possum guy
doing the review.
That guy's,
It was.
yeah, that guy's reviews are great. I love that guy's reviews.
Yeah, he starts off all the time. I'm a possum and I look for garbage. I'm there for you.
But so he looks at his hands, and it does. It looks like you spilled something on your hands under a black light.
Yeah.
All splotchy, but there's no explanation of it.
The glow looks like the kind of glow they would put on toxic waste in a Goosebumps episode.
Right.
Just get it done, Jerry. We got to go on air in 4 hours.
Seriously. So then we meet William Shatner as Captain John Gosner.
Oh, no. Hold on. We got to talk about Lupus and Dude,
Oh, yeah.
which is what I named the two main characters.
Dude, okay, go for it.
Lupus and Dude. They are driving what I thought at first was a Geo Tracker, but I was mistaken. It was a Suzuki Samurai through the desert. And they're talking a little bit, and it's like that Forrest Gump road, but dirt, in the desert where it's super wide. Yep. And like she starts to gaze off and go into a memory, which is just like a half fade between the landscape and the doctor's talking. And then all of a sudden, Dude says, "Look out." Oh, sorry. Hold on. I wrote it down. Hold on. And then swerves the car, and we're jerked out of this flashback. And then we go right back into it. What the fuck was that?
And also,
what
was he avoiding?
And then
the
it's
road?
like, oh, right. There's nothing fucking there. But I did look, and he does drive up off the road because, as you know, Suzuki Samurais are hardy off-road vehicles.
And the Pontiac Fiero are the two that I take off-roading.
Yes. I would. This is when we learn she has lupus. It's an aggressive form of lupus.
Yep, there's nothing we can do. I'm sorry.
Lupus can kill you. 10% of lupus cases can't be cured, so dying from it is possible. But all of the negative side effects of lupus, even if she had 2 or 3 of them, out of the dozens of symptoms you can develop, she should not be in the desert because light sensitivity is one of them, muscle weakness, hair loss. Like, not that hair loss is a bad thing in the desert, but like you don't want sunburned skin and hair loss at the same time. You'd be burning places you never knew. So she's in the desert this whole time. She's perfectly capable. Like, I think they chose lupus because, like, not a lot of people know what this is. If we say she's dying, she's dying. But if, like, she has leukemia, like, she's got to be all frail and shit. We can't get a pretty girl to take her top off or whatever's going to happen.
But Amy Acker is not what you would call, like... I mean, she's a very skinny, tiny lady. They very easily could have been
but she looked...
But they could have just said she has... Oh, sorry, you have an inoperable brain tumor. There's nothing we can do.
Tumor, yeah. Like, tumor would do it. Yep.
They at no point were they like, she's going to die in a week, or like they were just like, you're going to die. Sorry, you got 6 months. But there's no like time period in terms of like, this is the 5th month of the 6 months, or like they're immediately leaving the doctor and being like, we got to do all the things we want to do before you get too sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what happens in end stage is you go into kidney failure because your body's attacked the parts of your kidney that filter the blood. So at that point, you pretty much know when it's going to happen soon because you're having a hard time, staying alive. It's just it's like when the Predator movie picked autism as a fucking human superpower they needed to add to their gene pool. Right. It's like, you don't know shit about this. Like, we'll get into this with ninjas in the next one as well. about how we've been informed through entertainment about how things are, and then it's not really that. Right. So what do we got here?
So yeah,
there's that. So my favorite part of this whole scene is when it's the shot from the camera truck and all the dust is flying up in front of their car when they're supposed to be the only ones on the road.
I didn't even notice that because I was just so confused by the actor's choices of wording.
Yep. Yep.
Because these
And
two
then,
have their relationship, and we'll get into it more in the scene when they're like driving up the side of the mountain. But like, they're like, you want to talk about hot and cold and like quick emotional tonal shifts between a couple. These guys are easily the most like drastic I have ever seen in my life.
I can't tell you how many times I made notes of that.
Yeah, because they're yelling at each other mid-scene every scene.
Yeah, this is like that. They all have borderline personality disorder.
I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
But like when I don't give a shit about this girl because she's an asshole, and then she's fine when she wants something. But then, I mean, I guess it's a real portrayal of how some people act.
Sure. So then we get them. They're gassing their car up at Tom Towels. I say towels. That's I know. I'm gonna pronounce how
it's tolls, right?
Say towels. Tom Towels.
You know what? I call him T4 through this thing
that's
because it's tow truck Tom Tolls.
Okay, that too. So they're at his gas station or whatever, and Amy Acker and boy are there, and Tom's apparently got a rattlesnake just in a cage.
No, he's got stock footage of a rattlesnake.
He has a cage, and then there's stock footage of a rattlesnake.
He has a cage. I also said rattlesnake because I want steak.
That's true.
So
hey, steak is how it is. So he's and Amy Acker is like feeling bad for the snake, and she's like, "Why is it in a cage?" And he's like, because I can put it there."
Yeah, because it's a fucking rattlesnake. You want it just running around on its no feet? Cut it out.
So Tom goes over and he says, "You want to see something cool?" And he goes over and he gets a condom, blows it up like a balloon, and then like puts it in the snake's cage. And I guess the snake bites the balloon.
Yeah, because you get a lot of snake eye view of this condom balloon coming at it.
And I don't understand.
I don't understand why. Because, like, they hunt by heat and smell. Like, is it still hot from his dick or what?
I just don't understand what, like, hey, watch it. I guess it's going to pop the balloon. It's like, yeah, that's what snakes do.
Yeah.
So, needless to say.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So Amy Acker opens up the top of it. The snake slithers out. I thought it would have been complete poetic justice if she opened it up and then the snake immediately bit her.
Right, fuck Lupus. Snake.
Because she was wearing... Now, they're going camping out in the desert. Yes. Amy Acker is wearing fake snake skin, like faux leather pants.
I found it very hypocritical for her to be yelling about the snake while wearing its family.
Yep. But they're those like cheap, like you would have bought it like
it's the gray jeggings with snakeskin
No,
print.
but they were like fake.
Or
fake
maybe
leather,
there's even
because you got
there's a little bit of shine on
the reflection from the camera lighting on them.
Yeah.
So, but what was so funny because it was like they looked like they were like they raided what the hell was that store that used to sell like all the like hip
Wet Seal?
Not Wet Seal, but like Gadzooks. Remember Gadzooks? Like this was like Gadzooks' like slut section. Like, and I'm not shaming anybody here, but like you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Where they had the section of like cool hip clothes for the girls that like wanted to show it off.
Yeah, it's I need some new pants to go walk Salisbury Beach.
Exactly. Or Hampton. You could walk Hampton in them.
Or the carnival's coming to Revere. I need a crop top.
Topsfield Fair, high heels, and fake snakeskin pants.
I can go with the fake snakeskin pants, but not the high heels. If you go to the Topsfield Fair, it's got to be cowboy
Well, the problem
boots.
was that these were like the bell-bottomy type ones, so like you needed to wear the high heels so that you weren't just stepping all over them. Because I noticed that when she was walking. Anyway, her outfit is ridiculous for what they're going to do to go camp. Like you're wearing leather pants going camping in the fucking desert in Nevada.
She's dressed like 2 steps away from Singing with the Spice Girls.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is fine. It's fine.
So she lets the snake out.
She'd be Desert Spice.
Tom Towels loses his fucking mind because she's let his snake out.
0 to 100 in 0 seconds. They have a fight.
Yeah, he takes his knife out and he's going to kill Andy because he let the snake out that he just caught in the wild. And like, you're in Nevada, dude. If you really want another snake, you're going to be able to get another snake. And how many
just
people
like
are paying you?
turn around.
Like, because he's like, it brings people in, and then they buy something else, and it's like, really, like,
Yeah,
really.
I think it's just supposed to show he's a dope.
He's a dope, and also kind of sadistical. Kind of.
Yeah.
So they head off. This is when we meet William Shatner.
Hold on. I have a couple of issues here.
I don't know if we're
When
going to
they're
get to
fighting-
the second review tonight, to be honest, because of how fucking ridiculous this movie is.
I'm okay with that.
See where we go.
I'm okay with.
I feel like the other film is going to also need it, and probably at least a 35-40 minute review.
It's as stupid as this one. Yes.
All right, continue.
I'm
sorry.
So when they're fighting, there's music playing, but it's like that source. Is that what it's called? Source music, when it's coming from a radio in the scene.
Yes.
And usually it goes from source to whatever it is when it's like on the soundtrack. Now, a lot of movies do that to pull you in and make you feel that way. But when T4 was fighting with Dude, the radio stayed on the music the entire time. It never faded into the soundtrack. It didn't help the fight at all. It was so weird. And then they drive away. And what does he have hanging from his rearview mirror? A fucking pair of vintage binoculars. Metal fucking binoculars on a Suzuki Samurai's windshield, which is essentially a 2-degree angled sheet of glass, right? The fuck? And then they drive through the city making fun of the homeless. And then they say, oh, well, we should look around and find a place to eat. Oh, there it is. It's like, come on.
There's a
You're
cafe.
driving 10 feet. Yeah, which is conveniently across the street from everything else in this fucking movie. Then they go in and we find out that Dude, this is where I got his name. I wrote Main Dude because I didn't give a shit about his name. Main Dude is a UFO skeptic and an asshole. I didn't write it down at the time, but he said, oh, that's all bullshit or whatever. And the waitress said, when you come back, you'll be a believer. Yep. That's foreshadowing.
It sure is.
And then, yes, we meet Shatner, who's sitting there eating fucking who knows, but it's too much of it. And we get an exposition dump about the government doing laser shows to cover up stealth bomber flights, and that's been going awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
I can keep going
go for it, man.
with
You're
the
doing
next
great.
stuff.
I want to get your feedback on the conversation with him and the person from the State Department or whatever it is.
Oh, the two of them in the car.
Yep.
It wasn't even written like a conversation. It was just an explanatory paragraph that fake Dean Pelton spouts out, sitting next to what is, I can imagine, only the door of a car on a green screen set that's lit differently inside and outside the car. And Shatner, I don't know why he's driving that car, because he's not looking at the road. Every time a camera cuts over to him, he's looking right at him. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. I've never driven a car in my life. Like, the whole conversation is just like, first of all, it's a cover-up for this fake guy. Because he's supposed to go in there and shut down this whole fucking operation that we don't even know anything about, because we were just literally introduced to
all
them.
we've seen is some random purple lights over a day for night shot. And the fact that William Shatner is apparently the head of some experimental type thing that the State Department or the Pentagon, they're interchangeable, that's fine, wants to shut down because they don't believe in it.
Yeah. And then we cut to our intrepid Lupus and Dude, who Lupus decides to just sleep on top of a mesa, because that's an easy thing to do when you randomly fucking decide to do it.
This was my favorite scene in the whole fucking movie.
Oh, no, that we cut out. We cut back. We go away from that.
Oh, yeah.
Because then we're introduced to the best character in the entire movie, Captain Morgan. His fucking name is Captain Morgan, and that dude looked like he was trying not to go, why the fuck am I here? In every scene he was in.
Yep.
We go through the control room of this
first
Black Mesa site.
So first,
like
we're led to believe with the name Groom Lake and stuff that this is supposed to be Area 51, right? So
yeah, well, Groom Lake is on the premise? I
The
can't
Groom
remember.
Lake facility is where supposedly, in real life, all of that stuff, all of the alien stuff was housed. So we're led to believe that we are in Nevada. We are led to believe that they're going into Area 51. All of this is, based in, whatever reality that, exists or whatever. But as we're driving up, we have an exterior shot, and we're supposed to believe that the Biosphere 2 in Arizona is Area 51, because Biosphere 2 is a very, if you've ever, you've seen a picture of it probably. And that's apparently what Area 51 is in this movie. And you look at it and you're like, there's a big fucking greenhouse.
Yeah.
The whole front end of it is a greenhouse, and the rest of it is like a weird sort of pyramid shape.
Yeah, the greenhouse is so when you're dancing to safety dance, everybody can see you doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't reference Stephen Baldwin movies that much anymore, but I love the safe dance.
I can't even name another Stephen Baldwin movie. Anyway.
Usual Suspects. He was in that, wasn't he?
No, wasn't that Billy Baldwin?
No, that was Vampires.
Oh. All right.
No, that might have been Stephen Baldwin. I don't fucking know. I know Alec.
That's the only one that matters.
He's in Beetlejuice.
So they go to the Biosphere. And again, it's
Meanwhile, the whole fucking facility's underground. So what is this top part? It's just an arrow.
I don't know.
They're under here.
So basically, the whole thing is it's this super secret thing, but it's not even well guarded.
No,
as we'll learn.
No,
there's a show.
They have a fence. I mean, obey the fence.
They had a fence. Tricky Tom though fixes that real quick.
Yeah.
So they go in. We are introduced to Captain Morgan, Chris, and what does Captain Morgan do for Mr. Shatner?
He locks Dean Pelton in his office.
Yep. Well, it's actually more like a a basement.
It's underneath some stairs.
A basement, like a storage space basement area.
It really does look like on the opposite side is the entrance to some giant building, doesn't it?
Or a garage. That's what I got.
You know what? Though it could be under a theater.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not convinced because
it's somewhere Shatner could easily get access to.
Yeah, I'm not convinced because when we have the scene later in the urgent care or the hospital or whatever, that is very much somebody's house.
That is, but I forgot about all of the walking in shots of the stairwell and the big wide open with windows. So maybe they filmed in a place that could actually lead you to believe they were in a highly windowed building, I guess we could say. And then you go down. They did a fairly good job with that, but for a secret facility, you want a concrete bunker underground that can't be hit by missiles.
Sure.
Especially if you're suspected of reverse engineering advanced technology.
Sure. So they lock away this guy. He's crying about how he works for the Pentagon and how he's going to have everyone's badges or whatever. And it's the biggest mistake.
Yeah, he doesn't understand that people just disappear all the time.
You're making the biggest mistake of your life, locking me down here. So we're then introduced to Dick Van Patten. And what?
Before that, let me tell you that this is the slow move through the control room where they show off all the monitors, and a lot like Iron Man, the Avengers, where Tony Stark points out that a man is playing Galaga. I would like to point out that one of the people in the control room was looking at a very large blue circle on their screen that was not moving.
All of the computers.
That's it, just a circle.
Yep. All of the computers are late 90s IMAX in blue.
Yep. The candy color IMAX.
Yep. Which is obviously state of the art for a underground, very secretive military operation.
Yeah.
2002.
Yeah. I know my secret military operations all run on OS 7 because we don't update past that.
Well, you can't because then you'll lose the functionality.
Well, also it's a G3. What are you going to do?
So, all right. So then we go. So Dick Van Patten is there. He doesn't really say much of anything. They just they're we're told,
he's like, why am I here?
He's like, oh, I told Bill I do him a solid, and I ended up here. They talk about how they need to prepare for some sort of launch. We don't really know what.
No,
doesn't matter.
We don't really care yet either at this point.
So we jump back to Amy Acker and Dan Gother, and she's like, let's camp at the top of this mesa over here because everyone in the old town told us that, this is the best place to see UFOs and stuff. And I want to see UFOs. I want to know about life out there and such. Yeah. So Dan Gaither is like, all right, cool. And she's like, well, how are we going to get up there? And he's just like, I fucking drive a Suzuki, bitch. And he drives off the road and starts to drive up the side of this mountain in his Suzuki.
Yes, I made a note that they are driving off-road in a vehicle only made to look like an off-road vehicle.
Yep. But he takes it off-road because it's covered in mud.
Yeah, in no specific pattern, no spray from the tires. It's just brown.
It's covered in mud. And this is my favorite scene in the whole movie because he's driving up the side of this fucking mountain or mesa or whatever it is, and Amy Acker is just screaming at him.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Flirty to panic in 0.0 seconds.
She's like, yeah, this is going to be great. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. They're all going to die.
Yeah, exactly. But it's exactly what she's doing, man. She's screaming at him. What are you doing? You're crazy. And he's like, yeah, crazy in love or something stupid fucking like that.
Yeah.
And he's just basically like, shut up.
Yeah, it's really abusive. It's like on both sides.
The two of them are screaming at this goes back to the hot and cold where they're in love 1 second and then ready to kill each other the next. So they're driving up this thing and she's screaming that they're gonna die and he's like, shut up, we're fine. And they get to a point and the fucking Suzuki rolls over backwards.
Oh no, it's worse than that. Don't forget. He gets out because it's stuck sideways.
Yep.
Right? And then she's in there yelling and screaming and moving her arms around and stuff, and it starts to tip a little bit. And he gets in and he's like, all right, don't fucking move.
Yeah, I forgot about that, actually.
I can get us out of this. She straps in. I will say, he instructs her, I guess, as good as he could, because he tells her to cross her arms in front of her body and don't react to anything. Don't anticipate. And I'm like, that's actually not bad advice.
Not bad.
So,
but if you hadn't driven up the side of this mountain to start, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah. Now, being stuck, you got yourself into that situation. So personally, I would have backed out of it instead of trying to drive forward where it's making it worse. Yep. So he drives forward and the thing rolls like fucking Toonces the cat down the hill.
So ridiculous.
It's just smashed in. And at 23 minutes and 54 seconds, that's when the car rolls down the hill. And I wrote, car rolls downhill, destroyed. Good. They're dead.
But no.
At 24:04, shit, they're totally fine.
So it rolls down the hill, end over end, sideways. We're talking at least 40 or 50 times. And again,
definitely the crew compartment was flat.
They were in a Suzuki that's got no roof on it, by the way.
Oh, no, it had a roof. It was thin. Remember, he brags, this thing's got a roll bar built in.
Oh,
no, it doesn't.
Yep.
It's a fucking Suzuki. It's a car for students. Come on.
Rolls down the hill 40 to 50 times, and it hits the bottom of the hill. And then he just gets out.
Yeah.
Just gets out. Not a cut on him. Not dirty.
Like it's a fucking Naked Gun movie.
Yeah.
Gets out, brushes a little bit of dust off him. He's like, I'm fine.
And then he goes, hey, Kate, are you all right?
I think the accident really activated my lupus.
She climbs out of the car.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
She gets out of the car, rolls her way out of the car, stands up, and she's like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And they look at each other longingly and then have sex.
Yeah.
Immediately after rolling down the hill 40 or 50 times and screaming at each other that they were going to die and you're going to kill us. Apparently that turned her on. Either that or her Gadzooks level pants.
Yeah. I mean, those rocks, not for laying on. They're those kind of rocks that are better for looking at.
Yep.
Real sharp kind of edges and angles.
Yep.
I wrote, they fuck, now fight, and then they start a project, and then they flirt.
They start a project.
What was the project they were starting?
They were talking about aliens. Everything in this movie came back to them talking about aliens.
Right.
Because remember, they were sitting there, and there was that fucking shooting star that went over them that they didn't acknowledge was there.
No, that's. I don't think that's yet, because I did not get to that point.
Oh, what did I miss then?
Hold on.
There's a lot of see, we're 40 minutes into this, and we're only 26 minutes into the movie.
No. Oh, yeah. I got you. Okay, so oh no, it is now. It's the flirting. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She's fucking physically wrecked with lupus.
An aggressive
And then
form
she's
of
in
lupus, by the way.
And then she's in a car accident. And then they have sex on the worst rocks ever.
Which we can only call a sexual accident.
Yeah. And then yes, that horrific purple fireball in the sky.
Yeah.
Specifically asking, what do you see? And then they talk about the sun burning out in 1,000,000 years. It's not, that's way too short. It's 1 billion or more. Lupus. I wrote Lupus is looking for the afterlife. Lupus, I should write, is the character. And then the two idiots have made a suicide pact.
Sort of. Yeah.
Well, if you're not, I'm going to die with you then. Oh, so I don't have to live without you. Great. That's such a selfish act.
And then at this point,
she's dead. Who gives a shit?
And then at this point, we see the purple glow.
Hold on. They also talked about how they were undateable and unfuckable when they were young.
Yeah. And we've all been there.
Amy Acker and a guy I've named Dude. Named Dude for a reason.
Yep.
No, that's not possible.
So they see the purple light, and this guy goes, "Hey, do you see that?" And she's like, "Yeah, what is it?" or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, maybe it's like a farm over there and they can help us." Now, they take the picture, or they're filming it, and like you see where the light's coming from, and it's definitely not close. Like
also, who farms in the fucking desert?
I don't know, man.
Besides Luke, I get it. No, in real life, you don't farm. What do you farm in the desert? Fucking scorpions, rattlesnakes?
I don't know. Aliens.
Fucking stupid.
As we've learned,
they could have just said house.
So
house.
He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go over there and see if I can get somebody to help us." First good decision this guy's made in the entire movie. So he takes off.
Debatable, but yes, it is a better decision than the other ones he's made.
So he takes off. We then go back to Tom Towles, and he's driving his tow truck again very recklessly up the road. And then out of nowhere, we're dropped into what can only be described as a multicultural, mostly religious, over-the-top gathering to look at aliens.
This movie is subtly racist in many ways. I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some representatives from an African American church, and when they walk by, they added in a sound effect of the woman doing church singing. Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh, it's like meaningless. It's like angels chorus kind of stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, there's
sort of meaningless, like the intro to Reverend Scott's segment.
Well, we'll see. But like, there's a group of Native Americans together, dressed like Native Americans,
and holding antlers.
Like, I mean, if you're dressed like a Native American, you're dressed. You're wearing clothes because you're Native American, and that's what you're wearing. But it's like it's like the end of Ghostbusters if it was a parody of itself.
It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah. It is a 70-year-old man's idea of, how cultures work together, I guess.
So they're all on the top of this hill chanting and screaming, and like then the purple light shows up and they all start to freak out because the purple light's there. But like nobody seems to have the same reaction to it. The Native Americans start chanting loud and like doing like the most stereotyped like Native American moves you would see of like chanting and like hopping on one leg.
More racist, I think, than the tomahawk chop.
Probably.
But we'll just say.
For sure. And like parents with their kids like screaming at the sky, and then one lady apparently gets really horny and jumps on her boyfriend when it's happening. Meanwhile, Tom Towles is there like staring into the sky. There's a guy with an M16 that just starts shooting it into the sky.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. Tom pulls up in his tow truck. Everybody cheers him. He gets out. People are slapping him on the back. He assaults the news reporter. The crowd turns against him. He walks through the crowd. Like, their reactions are unpredictable.
It's like animalistic, just like turn. But I don't think that was the point of it, though. Like, I don't think it was meant to be like that. I don't think the people were given direction. Is what it was.
I think maybe they were going for a bunch of crowd reactions, right? Give me angry at him, give me happy for him, and then like they realized we didn't shoot enough, and we're just gonna put it all together with what we have.
Yeah,
that makes the most sense to me.
The purple light shows up overhead of them, and like everybody just like has a different reaction. But Tom Towles, for whatever reason, is like injured by it. He's like, but like the guy next to him's fine.
Yeah.
So there's no real clear cut what's going on. So it continues to move past them, and then flies over where Amy Acker's waiting. So she sees it, and it like, and she looks at it, and then like it moves on, and we go back to her dude, who has now come upon somebody sneaking into Area 51 under what can only be called the least patrolled fence in this side of fucking the border or whatever.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if the rumors are to be believed, they have heat sensors,
right,
to detect body heat. So
this guy digs a hole and sneaks under the fence. And then Andy decides that he's going to follow him, and he ducks under the fence too. Meanwhile, Dick Van Patten is inside and has located an intruder. But only one of the intruders, apparently, he didn't notice that both of them had come in, even though they were like watching the same camera and would have seen the two intruders.
I don't know why a project manager is working security, though.
I don't know. Because they couldn't afford to hire anyone else.
Yeah.
So then Andy sees the purple light coming out of the mountain. So they show him staring at it. But then the shot that they show of it would be like a drone overhead shot of it coming out of the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I don't understand what was happening here. Do you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. And
all
then
right,
it flies over him and like
he gets some kind
of
so he gets the purple glow too.
What happened
after this?
Yeah, I don't even remember.
After this, the other competing tow truck company tries to rape Lupus, and then
So Amy Acker is in the desert waiting for the other guy to come back. This van pulls up, and this guy gets out, and he's like, "Hey, it looks like you guys had some trouble." And she's like, "Yeah, we got into an accident. Did you see that? Did you see that?" And the guy's like, "What are you talking about?" The spaceship, the purple light that just flew over like a few seconds ago. And the thing is, it's like, if it was there, there's no way that they didn't see it. So she's like, "You didn't see it?" And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you come with us? We'll get you some help. And she's like, no. My boyfriend went to get help. I can't leave.
Right.
And then,
because then he won't know where you are.
And so then this other lady gets out of the truck or the van, and she's like, "Listen, sweetie," she's like, "We'll find your friend. We will bring you into town. We'll get you some help. Why don't you just come and get in the van with us?" And she's like, "Well," and honestly, at this point for her, she's might as well do it. She's like, "All right." She's like, "All right." So, and again, this goes back to her wearing those leather pants, because that's what caused this, I swear. She gets into the van, and then the man and the woman immediately rape her. Like,
they try. They don't even get her clothes off. She does fight them off pretty well. I'll give them that. I'll give the movie that.
And then another random third person comes out of nowhere, runs into the side of the van, and basically says, "Let me get some of that alien." So they wanted to have sex with her because they thought she was an alien.
Yeah. They took every wacko idea and threw it into this movie because this isn't even the end of UFO conspiracy shit.
No.
Not even close.
Nope.
Oh, boy.
So they do their business with her and then leave.
Do they actually rape her, or is it interrupted?
No, I think they do. I think they do. Mostly just because when he comes back, her pants are conveniently down around her ankle, and like she's covered in blood, and it is just like
I kind of tune that shit out now from movies. I'm not interested.
But the whole thing was just so fucking weird because like the only inkling we got that the people in the town were weird was that they were just like kind of like bizarre people.
They're like the Roswell people that are like, this is our meal ticket. Fuck it. I'm going to embrace it.
So I don't even know where these people came from or like how they even found her because they were out in the middle of the fucking desert.
They found her because the fucking hills have eyes, dude. Come on.
Sure. Okay. Makes more sense than the movie itself.
Right?
So your dude gets back. He's now got glowing hands because the spaceship like dripped on him or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you all right? And she's like, oh, they attacked me, blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right, well, we got to get you into town. We got to figure out what's going on.
She did a fairly decent for this more. She did a better job than this movie deserved.
Yeah, Amy Acker's great. I love Amy Acker. Yeah. I loved her when she was in she was in a bunch of the Jaws Whedon stuff, and she's been in a bunch of stuff. I mean, she's at Cabin in the Woods. She was great.
Yeah. Now, cut to after this horribly traumatic thing that didn't need to be in the movie.
Continue.
Cut to what I would only I mean this the only way to describe it is what was that you remember Mac from Mac and Me? If Mac was a robot suit,
it looked more like a poor man's Guyver.
I tried to do better than my initial joke. I wrote Shatner looks like a ripoff of Star Kid. Remember that robot in Star Kid? Dumb motherfucker. So we are introduced to the dumbest looking alien. Like, it's like a costume that's worn as a joke in a VHS thing before a real alien rips you apart.
Right.
It looks like it would be at home on Sesame Street or an Adult Swim show. It's that childish
you know what
looking.
It looks like? It looks like a poor off-brand Chinese knockoff of the Metroid suit.
Ooh.
That's what it looks like.
Also, I didn't write it down till much later, but you notice here that the suit is built with a pot belly.
It
really is. Shatner can actually wear it. Did we mention who Shatner's been talking to? Because Purple Jesus was introduced.
It's not Purple
early
Jesus.
on.
It's not.
And I don't think we really delved into this sheet-wearing, turquoise necklace-having old man who just glows purple.
You know who it is. You know what it is. Over-medicated Mr. Burns, who brings love.
Absolutely.
Exactly what
it is. It is. This whole movie is just ideas from other movies and TV shows.
I bring love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that I know what's going on, I don't. I bring fear and hatred.
And then, so we're still going back to this government guy with his threats every 20 minutes. But
my favorite is the main video screen that they have in their control room. That's just like the guy screaming at them on the screen.
Yeah, it's conveniently on whatever channel we need it to be on for a transition.
You're going to regret this. Do you know who I am? I work for the State Department.
Yeah. The main dude takes off his sweater, I think.
Pants.
And he's got a green t-shirt and a white long sleeve shirt under it and baggy ripped brown pants. And he fucking looks like Shaggy for the rest of the movie, and it bothers the shit out of me. Anyway, so the giant screen you were talking about at one point shows the room that they never really explain. I think it's the spaceship. the underside of the spaceship?
I think that's what it's supposed to be.
It's a shot of the screen of the security monitor, and then they cut to that room. You know how they do like transition through water or glass to get to something on the other side, and this jump cut doesn't even fucking line up.
No, not even close.
It's off by, it doesn't matter. It's off. You can see it when it jumps, and that is not the last fucking time that happens.
Nope.
Next
they used
page.
the same shot like 3 times, so.
Yeah. So dude guy is out now. They're trying to get to the hospital, and they get a ride from this guy.
Cool dude, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, do you like talking about cow pussy?
That guy loves to talk about it.
Well, he loves to talk about how they're all been removed. Crudest character in the movie.
Yeah.
Here's a quote.
Yeah.
Rip out their pussies. I'll vote for him. Sure. So that's the conversation. So now we have cow mutilation as well. Yep. As alien fuckers, I guess.
Which
so,
honestly though, like the cow mutilation thing does not work into the story that they're telling in any way, shape, or form when they start to tell you exactly what's going on with
no,
type of aliens
not at all.
And the fact that like essentially, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry.
That means that there's just some other, cow vagina pervert out there.
Yeah. Named Tom Towels.
Yeah. Quadruple T. So they go to this house that's across from the fucking diner. And it's just a house.
Now
it's somebody's house.
They don't say they're going to the hospital. They're just like, we need to get you some help. And we are showed many times that this is a very small town. So it's a doctor's office that has sort of like an emergency like section to it. But it is.
They should have an emergency cleaning it section.
Yeah,
they don't. True.
But it is very much just somebody's house because when they put Amy Acker into one of the rooms, you can tell that it's just a bedroom that they put some like stethoscopes on the wall and stuff. And when they open the door, you can see the staircase going upstairs. Like,
which I guess if you look at like Turner and Hooch,
I mean, my doctor when I was a kid was just
you
in a
get
house,
those.
So.
Yeah, I had a dentist that was that too. So yeah, for not surgery, recovery and stuff, they'd have to go someplace else. So yeah. Then we are introduced to the doctor.
Or as I like to call him, Dr. Headbanger's Ball 89.
Oh, I was not as kind as you are. I wrote Trump's doctor.
Trump's doctor.
Remember that dude?
Yeah, I do. Oh man,
this is just him when he was younger.
Yeah.
They're asking a bunch of questions. He says, "This is why are you interested?" And he says, "This is a quote: no interest at all, just curious."
Oh yeah, but you got to explain what that's. So
what the fuck does curious mean? Come on.
So they get to the house doctors. The nurse that's there is like, all right, hey, listen, we got a lot of people coming in because apparently a lot of people got injured at that fucking UFO party from the previous night because they're just
Anarchy Fest 2002.
Yeah, carloads of people that have issues for some reason, and then so they're bringing them in, and so Amy Acker and the other guy are talking to the nurse, and they stop literally right in the doorway.
Yeah,
like they're standing in the doorway, and people are trying to get by them. And like,
it was the best spot for natural light.
Well, yeah, because there was no light in the room, I'm sure. So people are trying to get in and out and like pushing them, and like they're getting annoyed. And I go, "Well, you're standing in the doorway." And no point where they're like, "Oh, let's move out of the way." So they bring her in. They get a bed for Amy Acker. They bring her in. They put her in the bed, and the lady's like, the lady that's playing the nurse is like, "Hey," she's like, "Sit here, relax. The doctor will be with you in a couple of minutes."
As soon as he's done, drinking Fireball.
Right. So the doctor comes in. He's just, he's a doctor because he's got a stethoscope and a white coat on.
Not gloves.
No gloves. Nope.
Ever.
So basically, he comes in and he's like, all right, what's going on? And Andy is like, we had an accident. He doesn't explain anything other than we had an accident. She was attacked.
Oh, yeah, the nurse in the beginning asks, was she raped? And that might be where my confusion came from, because he doesn't come right out and say, yeah.
He says something about her being attacked, is what he says.
Yeah,
He
they
goes-
played it real soft for TV, it felt.
So he's like, she was attacked. Also, I have to let you know that she has some sort of lupus.
Some sort of lupus.
So now
She's got lupus type
I
3.
want to put this into like, so he's sitting on the, so Dan, or not Dan, well, the actor's name is Dan. Andy is on the bed with Amy Acker. He's got his hand on her knee, just above her knee, because he's the boyfriend, and he's like, hey, this happened. And the doctor's like, okay, great. Let me take a look. He then switches places with Andy, sits down on the bed, puts his hand on her thigh, and says, okay, let's see what we can do. And then goes, can you go wait outside?
Right.
It was so
That's
bizarre.
Right.
It was so
like
weird.
They have the wrong lines, and nobody wanted to tell Damien because he's Dr. One Take. You call me in because I do this in one fucking take. All right? You don't get the hair for longer than an hour.
So
You gotta see this guy, is what I'm saying.
yeah, pretty much. So Dan leaves the room, no problem at all. Doesn't think twice that it's weird that this guy's sitting on the bed with her.
And his girlfriend that just rolled down a fucking mountain and was raped by alien people in the other room has no idea how she is. What does he do? I'm going to go flirt with this waitress and get something to eat.
So he goes across it. Well, he needs to use a phone. So he says to the
Because
nurse,
doctors' offices don't have any good
well, he
phones.
says to the nurse, he goes, listen, I need to call her family. Can I use your phone? And she goes, we have so many people in here right now, and we're having so many issues that we can't tie the phone up. We need to have the line open because apparently they only have the one line despite being the singular doctor's office. But hey, you know what? She says that to be like, no, you have to. She goes, there's a payphone across the street at the diner. Fair. And he goes, okay, no problem. So he goes across the street to the diner, tries to use the payphone, and it doesn't work.
I'm being kind of a dick because like he's not over there going to go eat and flirt. It just kind of happens. The waitress sees him and is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Phone and it doesn't work. So he asks the waitress, he goes, hey, can I use your phone? The payphone's not working. And she's like, yeah, no problem. And that phone's not working either. So we now know that the phones are out. And she looks
communication blackout.
Yeah, so she looks at him and says, hey, listen, have you had anything? She goes, when was the last time that you ate? And he's like, I don't know, when we were here yesterday. And she's like, Jesus. She's like, sit down.
Right.
We'll see if the phone gets fixed. We'll get you something. I
don't want to say it was enjoyable, but it was like a return to actually being a movie, telling a story.
One of the few moments of what would be a common sense thing.
Yeah.
Relax. She's in good hands. Sit down. Have something to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually good advice for any situation where you can't do anything.
Right. But so Darlene, I believe was her name, if I'm not mistaken, because everyone that works in a diner is named Darlene. She's like, so what happened?
Or Ruby.
Yeah, she's like, what happened to you guys? And she's like, oh, we were out in the desert, and we had an accident, and then she said she saw this purple light, and she's like, purple light? What do you mean? What did you see? And then he explains what happened, and she's like, you got to take me there. And he's like, no, I can't take you there. You just gave me these flapjacks. I need to eat these flapjacks. And
you told me I had to eat.
You told me I had to eat. Now you're telling me I got to leave.
Also, this dude keeps saying I have to get my Suzuki.
Yes.
Right. That's why he can't go anywhere, because he doesn't have a Suzuki.
But Darlene is dressed in also the clearance bin from Gadzooks because she's wearing faux leather pants also. And this like weird.
It helps with the tips.
Alien. I mean, it's not going to hurt them, I'm sure. And she's wearing this weird alien sweater that has like an alien face on it. And like the biggest belt buckle I've ever fucking seen. And she's like, okay, like, tell me about these. You gotta take me to see these aliens. And he's like, bitch, you're fucking, no, like, you're not. So he leaves, and then the men in black show up, right?
Let me see.
They're not actually wearing black. Dude, we're still only like 40 minutes into this movie.
So yeah. Oh no, we have to go back and do the he washes his face and he gets a purple face. He shows the waitress his purple hands when he wets them and rubs them together for some reason. The waitress was right. He believes now, but not exactly what she believes. He believes there is something going on. Yep. So it's a gray area. Everybody's right. Then he goes back to see the doctor. And the doctor touches the cut on his hand, on his arm with his bare finger. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised he didn't lick his fucking finger afterwards. Yep. And then I must have missed something because tow truck Tom Tolles is now with the dude and they're driving. And then the men in black come and get her. I missed where TTTT meets up with dude. To get to get his Suzuki. He has to get his Suzuki. I can't believe I almost forgot the Suzuki.
Yep.
Suzuki!
Then the men in black show up in their beige suits. In their 1970 Lincoln.
They're the DWB. Dude's wearing brown.
Oh, so yeah, they're supposed to be men in black, but they're not even in black suits. And literally, I'm looking at the cars that they're driving, and I'm like, these are like 1975, like clunkers.
Yeah, like
happening?
An 80s Crown Vic.
Like not even 80s. Like we're talking like a Lincoln Continental from 1978.
Yeah, they walked into the lot, you know, that they have near Nevada, near Vegas, I'm sure, where they rent cars to productions or people, and they're like, "What is the cheapest piece of shit you got that looks like a government car? We'll take two."
Yeah, one in maroon and one in white, please.
So we can tell them apart.
Somehow, according to the budgeting of this movie, it cost $750,000 to make.
Special effects, like when tow truck Tom Tolles goes fishing for cars.
Well, we'll get to that first. They take Amy Acker out of the doctor's office.
Okay.
Throw her in the back of one of these cars and take off. And then two of the other cars go off after Tom Tolles and Andy, which I thought was pretty interesting because, like, there's no real reasoning for anybody to be looking for anything at this point, as far as we know. We don't know where these people came from. There was no like, hey, you got to go get those people that were out in the desert last night, or like any of that stuff.
But yeah. So why did they take her? What was the big deal about her?
At one point, Andy kind of makes a throwaway line of like, oh my God, they don't know that I was out there too. They think that she's the only one. So they're going to go after her. But who is they? Who knows? Yeah. Because they were.
And what's an aluminum falcon?
All of these things. So either way, they take her to Groom Lake or whatever.
Groom Lake. That's what Epstein called the lake on his island.
I know, seriously. And then so she gets brought there, and then your boy, glowing Lee Van Cleef, like, I don't know, like makes her purple.
Purple burns.
Purple. He like makes her purple or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah, why not?
I'm getting bored talking about this.
The purple, I believe, isn't the purple like the entity, the alien thing in this, because there is, spoiler, fucking who cares? It's a gas. The alien's a gas, right?
Right,
so it can take over people. So it's inside Bernsey right now.
I don't even know. So they talk about. So William Shatner gives this like. We're jumping way ahead because we have to. We're at an hour and 8 minutes, and we're like 35 minutes into this movie or whatever. So William Shatner later in. Okay, all right. I'm gonna fast forward here. All right, here we go. Tom Tolles takes off. We takes off with the boy Andy to go get his Suzuki Ranger or whatever it is. They're chased by two.
I think it's a Samurai.
Yeah, fine. Wasn't the Samurai a motorcycle? That was
the Intruder
Ninja.
Was. I don't know.
The Ninja. Anyway, doesn't matter.
I'm going to look it up because now I need to know.
So they're being chased by two men in black unmarked cars that are like not really unmarked cars. We then realize
it's a Samurai.
The reason why that they're these junk cars is because they're going to let this truck destroy these cars. That's why they bought such cheap cars. So Tom Tolles basically like drives like a maniac and talks to Andy, and Andy's like, yeah, man, you're fucking crazy or whatever, but we got to save my girlfriend. So cool. Then Tom Tolles wrecks one car and then drops the hook on his tow truck while they're driving. And as you said, goes fishing for cars.
It's like Indiana Jones hanging off the back of a truck, but it's a tow truck hook that they hook to the bumper somehow. Don't fucking ask me.
Doesn't matter.
It was all CG'd, so physics don't matter.
Doesn't matter. Hook the car, flip the car over. All right, they've gotten away from the Men in Black. So Andy.
Yeah, one Men in Black car gets stuck on an embankment and can't turn around.
That's what you get for getting a Crown Vic. Anyway, so Tom Tolles and Andy decide meet up with Darlene because she shows up, and they're like, "All right, well, we got to go in there to get Amy Acker out. How are we going to do that? Well, I don't know. Let's just get some fatigues, and we'll just be able to walk in."
Yeah,
that's what they fucking do. So
fucking fake it till you make it.
Yeah, he tears down the fence with the hook. They go into the place. Literally, apparently, to get into the building, there isn't like a key card or like a security station or anything. They just walk into Area 51, what is considered to be the most secretive, most guarded base in the fucking world, and they just walk in because they're wearing
the most secret, most guarded base that the public is aware of.
Right. Exactly.
Also, I don't know anything government. Don't come for me.
But that's fair. So they sneak their way in. They find Amy Acker. We then realize that this whole time...
They find her in the infirmary up a flight of fucking metal stairs.
Yep. This is true. But the whole thing is they'll like fake it till you make it. They're like, just act like an asshole when you get in there and nobody's going to question it. And nobody does.
You know what? That is true. That is a thing that I tried it once. I wore just a shirt and a tie. And I walked into a theater I didn't work in, and as I walked through, I yelled to the concession stand, "Somebody needs to clean that up." And it was a chain I have never worked for, and it works.
Yeah,
just
because people don't
pretend like you belong there. Yeah. Shit, he must be a district manager. Let's not fuck with him.
So they get to Amy Acker. Amy Acker tells them how there's aliens there. Meanwhile, we still got the guy screaming about the Pentagon. And then William Shatner, we learn that the alien is inside the older guy. He then gives this explanation to Amy Acker, and so the alien goes inside the robotic suit, and the alien's going to use the robotic suit to take the ship home. Shatner is trying to send E.T. home. That's what he's trying to do this whole time, because they can't survive here or whatever.
Here, I got worst E.T. ripoff ever.
Yep. So then Tom Tolles kidnaps the alien in the suit because he's going to make $1 million because this is what everyone's been looking for.
What weapon did he have? Oh, no, it's a different movie where they held nunchucks to somebody's throat as a threat.
He had a gun, apparently.
It was this is a different one, yeah.
So then Shatner explains to Amy Acker and the other guy, there was a crash 30 years ago in the desert. The alien survived. They didn't realize it at first that the condensation was the actual life form.
You know what?
So they were able to hide it from the government.
I'm okay with that. Shatner, I'm actually sort of impressed that Shatner would carry over the idea that aliens aren't always humanoid. I like that idea, that it's something we wouldn't expect. It is literally an alien being.
Right.
That's the one plus this movie gets.
So they're like, but he can't survive in the atmosphere. We need to get him home. Meanwhile,
no reason given. By the way,
meanwhile, the really angry guy from the Pentagon gets out because he threatens Captain Morgan's job. He's like, "Listen, hey, your job is gonna be done. You got to let me out." So he's trying to shut the whole thing down. They go into town. Tom Tolles is showing him off.
Oh yeah, crucified on the back of his tow truck.
Yep. Everyone turns on him because everyone wants a piece of the alien. The alien gets pissed, shoots some lasers or something, blows up some cars. They get back in the car with thing, drives back.
What was up with the deflecting the laser?
I have no idea.
At a perfect 90-degree angle.
No idea. No idea whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
it was weird.
Guy flies away. That's it, apparently.
Yeah, shit alien design, fickle crowds, worst ET. This alien is dying and she's like, I don't want to die. Somebody started doing a countdown at 15 seconds. Are we supposed to give a shit about the government guy? Lupus is still all like, I'm dying. Alien is a religious zealot. Also, he was dying and probably wanted her to shut up.
Well, Amy Acker,
which is why he gave her the whole, we continue on his energy throughout the universe.
And he so it's like she's still got lupus. He didn't cure her lupus or anything. He's just like, hey, when you die here, don't worry, there's more. And now
it's
she's
just
okay
your
with
body that dies. Yeah, that's
which is a beautiful thought. I don't think I buy into it, but
it wouldn't help me at all. It's
No.
not the answer I'm looking for.
So and William Shatner does the classic when the guy from the Pentagon's like, you're gonna pay for this, and he's just like, you want the facility? And he throws the keys at him. Just lock up when you're done. And then him and Captain Morgan turn. And obviously, the credit should have hit right there, and it should be like, like,
Yep.
and like,
Yep.
they froze like with an arm around him or something. But no, it goes on for like another 10 minutes.
It does. It does. And I think Shatner's experience on Star Trek through the military chain of command that way has definitely distorted how the chain of command works, because he still would have been arrested and brought up on charges, regardless of whether or not the project was done. What he should have said was, it doesn't matter what happens to me now. I did what I had to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what Shatner's character ends up doing, is just being a noble. I'm just helping this guy for altruistic reasons. He's not getting anything out of it, really. He's getting screwed in the end. Yep. But they don't play that up, so you don't really.
The whole thing is that he's like
get any of
the
it.
alien.
Yeah,
but there's no like. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Hour and 16 minutes.
Chris, all right, then I'll make this real easy, because I finished writing. Also, he was dying and probably wanted her to shut up, period, skip a space, no, period, F, period. That was all basically in the same stroke of the pen right there.
So you do not recommend it, and you give it an F.
No, and I'm gonna say this. I never want to watch another William Shatner movie again. But for every person, and I didn't tell you this, I just think this might be an interesting experiment. Anybody that signs up on the $5 tier will add another Shatner movie to the list of movies I have to watch. I think that's fair. I will do something, and I will take notes, and we will do a long review for every new $5 patron.
I'm on board.
I feel kind of gross
I'm on board
saying that.
Need the money.
But because I've never done the Patreon thing like you do every week, so it's weird to me to say I will do something for money. But we can keep going with these
things for money. So
we can keep doing these Shatner movies, but I draw the line at doing them for free because they are so fucking terrible.
Do you give it an F though? Are you failing it?
Oh yeah, no, I give it an F, and I definitely think we need to do a commentary on this.
Yeah, I agree. We'll do a Patreon commentary for this for sure. So in this weird sort of way, I kind of recommend it because it is so ridiculous and so inept and so like shocking how you can take a great sci-fi actress like Amy Acker, someone that's really enjoyable, has done a lot of great work, and someone even like Shatner. Like, I mean, say what you will, but Shatner's Kirk. Like, you can't hate on the guy completely, but like just how bad this movie is.
He's a terrible fucking actor in this. When he takes that helmet off and he's doing his intro to the VCR game rules, it's like he forgot how to act. He's really bad in this. He's just reciting lines. He's not even like putting anything into it.
He fucking directed it. He fucking directed it.
Yeah.
So in terms of a grade, I won't fail it. I will give it a D-. But in a weird way, you really kind of need to see this. And we'll do a commentary of this for sure.
I feel like
a little bit of time, I think, though.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like if I recommend this as like a serious and not a comedic, like, oh, you guys got to check this out with your people, it would ruin some of my, if I have any, credibility in recommending movies. This one is just so fucking bad. It's bad. It's not even like, I don't even think this is good, bad alone. Okay. Like I watched the trailer and I'm like, I can't even watch this with my kids. I'm not doing this to them. So it's that kind of bad.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but it was that it's bad.
For sure.
It's really, really bad.
So needless to say, we're gonna bump 9 Deaths of the Ninja to next week because I feel
that's a good idea.
I feel like that review is gonna probably, almost could possibly be as long as this one. How many pages of notes do you got for that? Because there's some really ridiculous stuff happening in that movie.
6.
Oh man, we could probably make a whole show out of that.
6. I mean, I could do 10 minutes alone on the laughing guy. That's all I'm going to say. The laughing guy.
So here's everyone's homework. 9 Deaths of the Ninja is available to watch for free on Tubi.
Yeah.
Watch it, and then next week's show, listen to our review, because I feel like if you've experienced 9 Deaths of the Ninja, you know what you're going to get out of our interview or out of our review.
I think so.
Needless to say, Joe was able to watch another Amity movie this week. I don't even know which. I don't even know which one it is. I don't even know which one it is. We'll find out.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris, and hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and this week Bill took me from a nondescript California town to, well, we're back to Amityville, but it's definitely not 112 Ocean Avenue, because he made me watch the Amityville Curse. Now, before I get into it here, Bill, I found 6 more on Tubi, taking the grand total of movies that include the word Amityville in them to a whopping 38.
Jesus.
I hope at least the city council of Amityville, New York, had the good sense to trademark some shit and make some money off of apparently the most popular city name in cinema.
Man, that'd be most of this year.
And Amityville, New York looks lovely.
Yeah.
As long as you're rich and white. It definitely looks like the kind of place where if you aren't either of those things, you've got maybe 20 minutes of strolling around before a cop asks you what you're doing there, where you're going, who you're coming to see, and when you're leaving.
Mm.
Just now, out of even more curiosity, and because for some reason I have been absolutely obsessed with real estate in this movie series, I looked at the Zillow, like the actual Zillow for Amityville, New York, and the cheapest place I could find is a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment in a duplex that is barely 700 square feet. I looked at the listing and it has no flooring in it whatsoever. It's missing drywall in half the rooms, and the electric looks like my friend's toddler installed it. And guess what? It costs $200,000. I'd be summoning a demon just to help me with the fucking drywall. Like, come on, Baal. You got to tape the seams between the drywall sheets or it'll show under the paint. Fuck. Hand me that putty knife, you useless dick. The new owners of 112 Ocean Avenue, or actually not 112 Ocean Avenue, are renovation-minded as well, because the quick synopsis reads, unaware of its dark past, a couple decide to buy the Amityville house to make a profit. It's not the Amityville house. Putting aside the fact that to renovate that house would be a task greater than battling a demon, how the fuck are you unaware of this house and its past? Like, listen, I'm very unplugged from shit these days. I have almost zero social media presence. But shit like this is what used to make the news those days. Especially when it happened 4 fucking times. Like, this would be like buying H.H. Holmes's Murder Castle or the Winchester House and being like, wait, what the fuck happened here? At the very least, a neighbor would come over and instead of a bundt cake, they'd give you a 2-liter of holy water as a housewarming gift. But I digress from my stream of consciousness because I haven't even started the movie.
Oh, no. We're not there.
38 minutes in.
Okay, good.
I would like that noted again. 38 minutes in and literally nothing supernatural has happened yet. 38 minutes of this movie basically being the money pit, but without American treasures Tom Hanks and Shelley Long being adorable and funny the whole time. Like, if someone were watching this movie without knowing the title, it would just be a story about 5 wannabe yuppie New Yorkers buying a house out in the suburbs and discovering that they're all a bunch of miserable fucks who don't know what they're doing and are all very accident prone. There's 2 married couples. The main couple, who got everyone into this mess, consist of a closeted cross between Fraser Crane and Nathan Lane from The Birdcage. He's married to the meek, mousy girl who is a legit psychic, and they treat it like all she can do is just a neat party trick, even though she has proved legit psychic ability. The other couple is notable character actor Kim Coates, who just sullenly chain smokes through the entire film, and his wife, who's just generic 90s like lingerie model good looking lady, but in that weird gross fake way. The fifth wheel is the handyman, and the only guy who puts any actual work into the house, and he's a cross between Randall from Clerks and Matthew Lillard from Scream, but like the worst traits of both characters. Like, each of these people are more unlikable than the last. At this point, you may be asking yourself, is he ever going to talk about the plot of the film or what happens in it? No, dear listener, not yet. Because I shit you not, I am 51. At this point, 51 minutes into this hour-and-a-half film, and I am waiting, just like you, for something to goddamn happen. Dear listener, I will let you know when something happens, because so far, this movie has been like The Money Pit meets The Big Chill, except in both of those movies, things fucking happen. Characters have conflict. Something happens that gives you a chuckle. A bathtub falls through the floor and Tom Hanks laughs so hard out of frustration that you can't help but feel it and laugh along. At this point, I'm just aching for one of these thoroughly unlikable fucks to just get tetanus. Turns out this whole fucking thing is happening because the priest who lived in the house before them, before the unlikables tried to flip this turd, was killed in a confessional booth, and they moved the church moved the confessional booth into the basement because why the fuck not?
Makes complete
Except
sense.
none of it is supernatural. It's all like, oh, we cheersed with a glass and it broke and I cut my hand, or oops, I stepped on a really weak spot in the floor and I hurt my ankle. Oh no. Oh, fuck me. The overall message of this film has been, if you buy a house to flip it, just hire professionals. Sure, it's going to cut into your profit margin, yes, but you are going to save yourself a lot of boredom. My boredom.
It's true.
The big reveal here is that notable character actor Kim Coates, who has just been sullenly chain-smoking through the entire movie, is the illegitimate son of the priest who got killed in the beginning, and he's the one who done did it. He's gone a bit wonky in the head and starts killing his friends, and at this point you may be saying, but wait, none of this has anything to do with demons or hauntings and whatnot. Yes. Yes, dear listener. I know. They defeat their psychotic friend, and a big explosion happens, indicating that he's been fueled by supernatural forces the whole time.
Sure.
That's literally the only supernatural thing that happens. That was bullshit. Here's the thing. The good. At one point, the mousy girl, frisbee throws a circular saw blade at his knee to get away from him, and the blade sinks halfway into his leg, which would be an impossible thing for a human to do. You know those strong men that you see on TV who throw a full beer keg up into a third story window and that they're doing all these feats? Even if they were to frisbee throw a circular saw blade at somebody, it wouldn't sink halfway into their legs. He screams as he has to work the blade back and forth to get it out. And then as soon as he does, as soon as the blade comes out, he's like, oh, and then he just starts chasing her again. It's only a problem when it's actually in your leg.
Not the gaping wound that remains.
Jesus. The bad. This entire series so far, but especially this entry, is a dynamic example of what can go wrong with a slow build. A slow build.
Okay.
The Amityville Curse fails miserably, and I am talking specifically about my misery. And I'll be back next week with 1992's Amityville, It's About Time, which I really hope was actually a Canadian production, so it can be Amityville, It's About Time. Sorry, that was fucking terrible.
It's all right.
Until then, be good.
That was very Canadian to apologize for that at the end.
I know. Oh man, his misery is just I can't I can't even 30.
Could you imagine making him do almost a year's worth of the same franchise?
I would never do that. I'm a
He
bad
would,
person. But
he would find you. You'd
I'm
be
a bad
dead.
person, but I'm not that bad.
No, just to me. Just to me. Hey, guess what we're going to watch next week? William Shatner took a shit and there was blood in it and he filmed it.
Ugh.
It's 5 hours long.
Speaking of shit with blood in it, here's Reverend Scott.
Oh.
Okay, before we get to our number ones, Chris, do you happen to have anything there that you were really let down by this year?
Yeah, God.
Reverend Scott.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott.
My TV's frozen. Right, my watch is yelling at me.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott. So are you excited for a whole new year of segments from me?
Man, I really can't fucking stand you. Yeah. But at the same time, I kind of love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd take a bullet for me and all that. So anyway, episode 777. Not since the demonic 666 over 2 years ago have we had an episode number like this.
You are not fucking serious.
Oh, but I am. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're only 2 weeks into the new year, and we already have a major issue.
You have got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, but I am not. You see, typically, I'd already be telling you about what movie reviews you did that I'm going to be reviewing this week. But I can't. You didn't do any last week.
What the fuck is happening?
Well, as you likely have already forgotten due to old age, last week was our top 10 favorite movies of 2022. And I don't know, I guess I can review your lists. Both get an A because they were your favorites. Only an idiot would give you a bad grade on your favorites. So an A grade makes me sound smart, right?
He came off infinitely more smart, more intelligent, more smart. Jesus fucking Christ. He's more smarter.
And much like Bill's New Year's resolution to finish off an entire keg of Pabst Blue Ribbon in one night by himself,
I just really like to drink.
My New Year's resolution is something I like as well, watching more recommended movies. And I got some great recommendations of films from your list last week that I haven't seen yet, such as The Banshees of Inisherin, Vengeance, Uncharted starring Mark Wahlberg.
I'm a mark for Mark Wahlberg.
And one that I already watched since your list dropped, This Place Rules, which I knew was in the works by Andrew Callahan of All Gas No Brakes and his new YouTube called Channel 5. By the way, if you don't already subscribe to his YouTube, do it immediately. He is amazing. If you're a crazy person or a hypocrite or someone not enough people know about but should, he's going to seek you out and he's going to dig in deep to find out all he can about you.
He's back to being a detective.
Yeah.
And he's detecting.
Just like he did with the 2020 election and the January 6th raid of the Capitol building in the before-mentioned This Place Rules documentary. I could tell you more about it, but Bill already watched it and reviewed it last week. So let's just hear what he had to say.
Bruins won 2-1, in case you were worried.
Oh, hey, good.
Very good. And I really liked it too, especially as a showcase of what various media sources chose to cover during different events and how it shaped the general public's view of the events depending on their political leanings.
I don't really understand.
And neither did a majority of the voting public. All you need to know is that I give the doc a B+, and Andrew Callahan is a national treasure that must be protected at all costs. So what else did I learn last week? Well, I learned a lot about Ric Flair.
When did Richard Fliehr become Ric Flair?
Sounds one letter at a time.
But that's really all I have to talk about this week. I guess I'll just have to end this already.
What is going on?
I told you, new year, new me. I won't always necessarily have some 10-minute long segment now.
So you just got to do what you want. And then if they like it, they like it. Exactly. Screw them.
Good advice, Chris. So that's what I'm going to do, whether Bill likes it or not.
You know what? I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Oh, I love you too, buddy. And as always, peace and love, guys.
It's in my blood.
You need some penicillin then, dude.
It's in my blood, bro. I can't even handle it anymore. It's all like part of who I am.
The Winter Classic is on, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's any able-bodied member of the Dropkick Murphys versus the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones in an outdoor arena hockey game, refereed by the surviving members of the Jay Giles Band and Bobby Orr.
You want to know who the in-between period before was?
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Nope, they sang the national anthem.
Wait, really?
Swear to God, Belle Biv DeVoe sang the national anthem.
Fucking wicked awesome, bro.
That was great.
Thank you guys for joining us this week and sitting through the pain that was Groom Lake.
That was worth it.
Oh no, for sure. And I had a feeling when I was like, all right, we should do 9 Deaths of the Ninja next week. So again, that's available to watch on Tubi. Groom Lake, you got to buy a copy of it or acquire one through other means because it's not on any streaming services anywhere. Because I'm pretty sure Shatner tried to bury it, and when he realized how bad it was. But 9 Deaths of the Ninja is available to watch on Tubi. So do that before the show next week and have fun with us. Facebook group, go to Facebook, search Groups Outside the Cinema. You can follow Chris and I on Instagram at OTCBill, at Cthulhu. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Cool. So everyone have a good week. We'll talk to you soon.